pull the chair an inch from the wall, its wooden foot complained. Since when did four familiar corners learn to lean my way? The lamp stayed low beside the glass, the blinds cut dusty bars. I counted 7 floorboards twice and lost the space at 6. Walls at my elbows, ceiling in my hair. Every careful thing I placed was taking up the air. Walls at my elbows, bed against my knees. I made this room to shelter me. Why won't it let me breathe? I set the water on the floor, I turned the lampshade west. I left a path from bed to door no wider than my step. The path became another rule, I couldn't cross its edge. The chain stayed cold and level, nothing leaned except my chest. The chair has not come closer, the frame is where it was. I press both feet into the boards and let them take my weight. I cannot make the corners move or bargain with the air, but I can leave one number missing and still remain right here. Walls at my elbows, still close, still near. The glass is only glass again, the chain stays on the door. Walls at my elbows, I don't call them kind, I only stop accusing them of every inch inside. I tilt one blind slat upward, a thin line crosses the floor. One stare gives under someone's step. I leave it uncounted. You came before the building woke, 2 cups wrapped in your scarf. The stairwell window held a square of winter on your cheek. You sat 2 steps below me, so I could keep the door within one reach behind my shoulder and still say, stay some more. Sunday on the landing, warm cup, cooling rail. You talked about the grocer's dog, the bus that missed our stop. Sunday on the landing, nothing grand or brave, just your coat across the banister and room enough to stay. The radiator knocked in 3s, we split the heel of bread. You peeled an orange with your thumb and left the rind like thread. I laughed before I checked myself, you looked away on cue. I called that kindness at the time, you knew what not to do. You asked if I was coming down, I said in a minute maybe. Then I watched your cup go cold beside the chipped blue plate. I remember all keeping one step between us and calling that enough. Sunday on the landing, I hear the softer truth. You never made me leave the doorway, I never followed you. Now the same stair takes a footfall, then settles back to wood. I find the paper where I wrote your number like I would call before the courage changed, before the room grew small. I set the paper by the lamp, and don't turn it face down. Found your number by the lamp and watched the final digit blur. Would you answer after midnight if I couldn't find the words? I pressed call before I changed it, held the phone against my sleeve. You said my name without a question. I forgot how to breathe. Tell me you're still there. Don't fix what I can't say. Let the line stay open while the room gets through this wave. Tell me you're still there. You don't have to understand. Just make one ordinary sound, so I know where I am. You filled the kettle at your end, the cupboard open then shut. I heard a spoon against a cup, your floor beneath your steps. I counted every little noise until the noises stopped. The quiet grew another meaning, my fingers found the lock. I said hello, too sharply. You answered, I'm still here. I was listening while you breathed, I didn't disappear. I almost made a joke of it, almost said the signal failed. Instead I let the honest sentence leave before I could turn pale. Tell me you're still there. Even when I go quiet, I mistake an empty second for a door pulled closed behind it. Tell me you're still there. Say my name just once, then wait. I am not asking you to save me, I am asking you to stay. I set the phone beside my pillow, speaker facing up. Your breathing crossed the little room. I left the line untouched. You went still between two sentences. The kettle clicked behind you. I asked if you had heard me. No answer crossed the line. I watched the dark phone screen as though it held a face. How quickly can a quiet second put a person in their place? Quiet meant goodbye before I knew what quiet was. A room with no reply became a hand withdrawing. Quiet meant goodbye. I supplied the closing door. You had only stopped to listen. I had already lost you. I said, fine, I'll let you go, with more edge than I intended. Your chair moved at the other end. The little silence ended. You said, I walls, anything but how I turned a pause into a fall. You did not make me explain it. You did not call me wrong. You let the ordinary noises carry what I couldn't hold. Quiet wasn't kindness. Quiet wasn't cruel. It was you beside your kettle, waiting for my next word. Quiet wasn't leaving. It didn't cross the floor. I heard a door where none had moved, then blamed you for the sound. I placed the phone face up beside me. I let the room stay plain. When you stopped speaking once again, I waited for your breath. I moved the water glass from the table by the bed to the narrow window ledge where morning touched the rim. I told myself the reason was the dust beneath the lamp. Why did such a little change feel larger than my hands? I moved the water glass so I would have to cross the 7 boards I counted every night before I slept. I moved the water glass. It waited in the light, a simple thing that asked me to arrive there twice. The first time I went quickly, eyes fixed upon the floor. The second time I stopped halfway and heard the building breathe. A pipe knocked in the plaster. Someone dragged a chair. Nothing opened, nothing entered. I was still standing there. I drank beside the window. The blinds stayed mostly closed. A line of pale reflected light lay silver on my sleeve. By evening there was evidence, a ring upon the sill, a darker mark where water cooled my thumbprint on the glass. The room had not forgiven me. The air had not turned kind. I had only changed one object and interrupted one old line. I moved the water glass and made a second place where my body had to travel without asking for escape. I moved the water glass, no victory, no sign, just a circle on the windowsill that hadn't been there last night. I leave the glass beside the blinds. The water catches gray before I turn the lamp off. I touch the ring it made. seated on the sill. I put both hands beneath the frame. The latch turned farther than before. Why did the wood refuse to change? I leaned my shoulder to it, careful not to make a sound. Paint cracked white along the edge, then settled on the floor. The window stayed shut, my palms went cold outside. A bus moved through the street. Inside, I lost the count. The window stayed shut, the room grew loud. I reached for one small opening and found another wall. I tried a folded towel, I tried the handle twice. I found an old dull table knife and worked it through the paint. The metal slipped against the frame, my breath climbed out of order. I stopped before the blade could fall and wake the floor below. Had crossed the room on purpose. I had touched the stubborn latch that should have counted as a change. Instead, my chest drew tight. The glass beside my elbow shook. A little water spilled. The mark ran down the window ledge. The window did not move. The window stayed shut, I stayed beside it. No clean air came rushing in. No lesson filled the room. The window stayed shut, I said it without blame. Some things resist the hand without becoming signs of fate. The water from the sill. I set the table knife down. My palm remains against the pane, a fading shape of heat. I typed your name, erased it twice, and left the cursor blinking. The room was quiet after one. I could still hear myself thinking. I wrote, you don't need to come. Deleted every word. Then I put the plain request where excuses used to be. Knock once, then wait. Don't call through the door. Don't turn the handle. Don't knock anymore. Knock once, then wait. I may take my time. I need to know you're standing there without crossing the line. I read it back for hidden blame, for any softer lie. I changed maybe into please and left the reason out. My thumb stayed over send until the screen went dim. I lit it with my sleeve and found the sentence still intact. once waited on the landing with an orange in your hand. You never pushed the doorway, you let silence have its shape. I am not offering the room, I am not promising ease. I'm asking for one measured sound, and what comes after it. Knock once, then wait. Let the building settle. Let me cross the floor without racing with the metal. Knock once, then wait. If I speak, answer plain. If I cannot move the chain tonight, don't turn my fear to shame. I press send before I edit the courage from the page. The word delivered holds its place. I set the phone face up. The blinds were closed except one line. The glass was full beside me. The chain lay flat across the door. Your message said I'm outside. I put my bare foot on the first board, then brought it back again. How long can one small hallway grow when someone knows your name? I counted floorboards to your knock. One by the bed, two by the lamp, three where the water shook. I counted floorboards to your knock, then waited at number 4. You had not made a single sound. I heard you through the door. The building shifted in its sleep. A pipe released its heat. I held the glass with both my hands to keep the rim from speaking. 5 beside the narrow table, 6 beneath the frame, 7 waited by the threshold like a number I couldn't say. You knocked once, nothing followed. No handle turned, no second try. The quiet did not leave this time. It stood with you outside. I counted floorboards after your knock. 7 back to 6, 6 back to 5, then lost the order twice. I counted floorboards after your knock, not to make you go, but to measure how much room remained between my hand and hope. The glass left water on my sleeve. The blinds kept out the street. I reached the board beside the chain and couldn't move my feet. I said your name through painted wood. You said I'm here, take time. I lowered the glass beside the door and sat against the frame. I left the glass beside the door. your shadow held beneath it. I turned away before the chain could turn into a verdict. The first board touched my heel, the second held my weight. I crossed the room without the count, arriving there ahead. Barefoot to the window, not running, not released. The floor was cold enough to give my body something real. Barefoot to the window, one hand against the frame. I raised the blind a little higher than I had yesterday. Your shape stayed by the landing light. You did not call my name. Below, a taxi changed its gear. A neighbor closed a gate. The ordinary street continued without asking me to join. I watched it through the narrow glass and found a different noise. The latch resisted like before. I wrapped it in my sleeve. This time I did not force the frame or bargain with the paint. I lifted once and waited. The old wood gave a grain. A finger width of evening air moved cool across my face. Barefoot to the window, I didn't understand why air could feel less dangerous when chosen by my hand. Barefoot to the window, the chain remained behind. I opened only what I could and left the rest in place. The curtain touched the watering, the blind cord crossed my wrist. Behind me, you were still outside. In front, the curtain moved. The evening air moved through the blind. Your shoes stayed on the landing. I crossed the 7 boards again without asking them permission. The glass was on the floor beside you, separated by the wood. I placed my palm against the chain and felt the links go cold. Hand on the chain, voice at the door. I could send you home and make the room mine once more. Hand on the chain, your name in my mouth. I had to choose between disappearing and saying what I needed out loud. You asked, do you want me to leave? I almost answered yes. The word came up from older nights and stopped behind my teeth. I said, stay where you are. Don't come inside. Don't tell me it is nothing. Don't The hall went still around us. The street moved through the crack. You said, "All right, I'm staying." No promise after that. My thumb found where the hook begins. My wrist began to shake. I wanted one clean motion to decide the whole night. Hand on the chain, not pulling away, not turning one hard minute into every coming day. Hand on the chain, I tell you what is true. I need you near the doorway. I am not ready to let you through. Softly in the hall, the window cooled my face. I kept my hand against the metal and said your name again. I took my hand away from the chain, but did not cross the room. Your shadow waited underneath the narrow strip of door. The hall bulb had been dead for weeks. I kept the darkness there because it hid the dust, the shoes, the chair across the path. I lit the hall, the walls stayed walls, the coat hooks made their crooked shapes. The floor showed every mark. I lit the hall, not bright, not brave enough to see what I had placed between myself and change. I moved the chair beside the stairs. I folded up the cloth. I carried the empty water glass back toward the sink. You heard each small decision through the wood between us. You did not praise or question. You let the actions finish. Turned the deadbolt halfway, stopped, then turned it clear. The chain remained across the door, but one lock disappeared. I opened the inner curtain. The window moved cool air. The landing light and hallway bulb met underneath the frame. I lit the hall, no hidden route, no chair to block the doorway. No dark to blame it on. I lit the hall, I chose what you could see. The room was still my room, but it no longer hid from me. I set the water glass down safely. I leave the hallway bright, then stand before the fastened chain with both my hands in sight. The hallway light stayed on. Your shoes had not moved. The air came through the narrow window and cooled the side of my face. I stood where all the counted boards ended at the door. The chair was gone from the landing was by the sink. You said, I'm still here, in the same unhurried voice. I placed my fingers on the chain and waited for my choice. You waited while I named the limits. Stay outside the room. Don't reach for me. Don't step across unless I ask you to. You said, all right. No softened answer, no promise I would change. The harp released one quiet note. The metal held its weight. I remembered Sunday on the landing, orange peel and cooling cups. I remembered every silent second I had called a closing door. I remembered moving water, paint beneath my nails, your single knock, my bare feet, my hand against the chain. You waited, I chose the width. I said the hallway only. You nodded where I couldn't see and let the silence stay. The room behind me kept its shadows, the window kept its air. I did not offer everything, I offered what was there. My thumb went underneath the metal I lifted without haste. I unhooked the door chain. You waited